All right, a rotation is the third transformation that we're learning, and a rotation is a turn. When I think about rotations, I think about a ceiling fan. Okay, some of us are already daydreaming and not paying attention. I need everybody focused. The center of rotation in my class is the origin. The origin is what? The middle of the graph, 0, 0. So if you're thinking of a ceiling fan, the 0, 0 is like the light kit, and then the fan blades are your shape, just rotating and rotating around that light kit. Does that make sense? Yes or no? Now, before we get started, you have to understand the difference between clockwise and counterclockwise. So flip to the back of your notes, and at the top, right here on the left, don't write real big because we're going to use the bottom for that trick I was telling you about Happy Face Man. I just want you at the top, I want you to write clockwise. Clockwise means to move like a clock. Don't ever say right or left because a clock moves both directions. If I'm up here at 12 o'clock, it starts going right, and then when it gets to the bottom, it starts going left, and then right, and then left. So don't ever say, that's why we don't say right or left. We say like a clock, clockwise. So start here at the top and show that clockwise moves like this. Draw your little arrow like this. And then it just keeps going over and over and over again. Your arrow should show the direction that clockwise moves. Okay, opposite of clockwise is what? Counterclockwise. So counterclockwise moves backwards from a clock. So starting at the top, you're going to go the opposite direction for counterclockwise. So you're going to hear me say these words a lot today. You need to know the difference between how to move like a clock and backwards from a clock. The next thing you need to understand is degrees, okay? So when we talk about rotating a shape, we're going to talk about how many turns it should make. So if I have this pen right here and I want to turn it, like I could just sit here and turn it, but I need to be able to describe it. So like this would be 1 turn, 2, 3. Does that make sense? So we need to understand, like, what are we talking about? So we're going to do it in degrees. So you need to know the difference between the degrees. So right up here to the right, I want you to write 90 degrees is moving at one spot. Do y'all know what a 90-degree angle is? Yeah, it makes like a perfect right angle. So that's your one spot turn, like you're turning at 90 degrees. And then we're just going to go in increments of 90. So 90 plus 90 is 180 is going to be 2 spots. And then add another 90, it's 270. That's 3 spots. And to go all the way around the circle, it's a 360. That's 4 spots. So when we're talking about a coordinate plane, aren't there 4 spots on a coordinate plane? Yes or no? So if I start here, 1 spot clockwise would move it here. 2 spots clockwise would move it here. Does that make sense? 3 spots would go 1, 2, 3. And 4 spots, a 360 is all the way and you're ending up right where you started. It's a full circle. Do y'all understand this? This is just like stuff you need to know for the lesson. Yes or no? So all I taught you is how does a clock move? How does counterclockwise move? And how many spots we're going to call each turn. Are we all okay? Yes or no? All right, flip back to the front. There are actually more than 4 rules, but the 4 rules we're going to look at are these. Now, you will either have to memorize these rules or you will have to learn the trick that I'm going to teach you. Whether you learn it or not, today is going to be super easy because your answers are right here. Does everybody understand that? Like, these are the answers to the assignment. If you move a shape 90 degrees clockwise on a coordinate grid, it's going to take your X and your Y. Look what it did to them. It switched their spots, didn't it? The Y's became first, and then not only did it flip their spots, the X became opposite. Now, 90 degrees counterclockwise, it flipped their spots, but the Y became opposite. Now, 180 is my favorite. That's the one I actually have memorized because it just takes the X and the Y, leaves them in their spot, and makes them both opposite. That one's super easy. And 360 is the easiest. Have y'all ever heard somebody say, like, oh, they've changed so much, they made a complete 360? That doesn't even make sense because a 360 means you ended up right where you started. So if somebody says that, they're saying it wrong. 360 means you went like this and you went right back where you started. X and Y stay, X and Y. So if you want to make a complete change, which one would you actually do? A 180. So that one actually is the way people should say that phrase. Oh, they made a complete 180. Because that's just the complete opposite. Okay? So these two are super easy to memorize, but these are not easy to memorize. So I am going to teach you a trick that will show you how to come up with these rules. Okay? Is everybody all right? Yes or no? So that's the whole point of today's lesson, is for me to teach you how to read these tricks. Now, before we start, just look at the bottom. In example 1, how do you know which shape is the old shape and which shape is the new shape? Yep, this one's new, this one's old. So if you want to know how many times, like which one of these rules to use, all you ask yourself is how many spots did it move? So to get from here to this coordinate, how many quadrants, to get from this quadrant to this quadrant, how many spots did it move? 2. It went here, like to here, that's 1, yes? Then it went here, that's 2. So that's where you have to have this memorized. Which one is 2 spots? 180. So the rule I would write would be for 180. The X and Y just became opposites. Y'all see how easy that is? Like, you're just counting how many spots it moved. And then whenever I made this example, I didn't realize I put the exact same problem. How many spots did it move to get from here to here? 2. So it's 180 again. So I didn't mean to put the exact same figure on there. So both of those are 180, so you would just write the rule for 180. But right now, I'm going to teach you the trick to learn these rules. Are y'all ready? Flip your paper to the back. Anytime on the STAR test you get asked a question about rotations, you are going to draw what I call happy face man. What you're going to do, and it's very important that you draw it correctly, you're going to draw a coordinate plane, so your y-axis and your x-axis. You are going to label the x and y-axis, but here's the catch. You must label the x-axis on the right and the y-axis up top. And then you're just going to draw a happy face in quadrant 1, this quadrant. That's why I call it happy face man. Now, truly, you could put whatever you want right here. You could put a heart, a star. I put a happy face. Okay? If you can do this and learn how to turn your paper, it will come up with the rules for you. Yes? Okay, so here's how you're going to read the rule. Does everybody see the X is on the right? And the X-axis runs from left to right. All right, the Y-axis runs from up and down, and the Y is up tall. So if I was to read this the way it is, X is positive, Y is also positive. Okay, are y'all ready? I want you to, let me get a little sticky note. Y'all don't have to write this down, because I'm going to tell you to do something, and y'all are going to do it. Let's do a 90 degrees clockwise turn. Now don't turn your paper yet. How many spots is 90 degrees? One. Clockwise. Which way would this happy face go? Right here. Does everybody agree? Point to it. You're going to turn your paper and put the happy face in the bottom right. So everybody turn your paper. Put the happy face where it's in the bottom right. Is everybody's paper there? All right, are y'all ready for this? This is how easy it is. Did the x-axis stay the x-axis? No. It became the... All right, so this tells me that if I turn it 90 degrees clockwise, the x and y switched. They switched spots. So I would write my rule like this. They switched spots. Yes? The y is on the right. Right is positive. The x is down low, so it is. Now look. Go back to the front. Was 90 degrees clockwise, y comma negative x? Yes. Do you see how this trick allows me to not have to memorize these rules? Now, if you don't understand it yet, you're perfectly fine because it took me doing it 20 times to understand it, and that was me. Okay? All right, let's do another one. Let me get a new sticky note. So reset, put it back to normal. Everybody reset. Go back to normal. Are y'all ready? Let's do 90 degrees counter clockwise. Now don't turn it yet. Let's talk about it. How many spots is 90 degrees? One. But this time we're going to go opposite of a clock. So where would this go? Right here. So turn your paper and put the happy face in the top left. I'm waiting on everybody's happy face to get in the top left. You cannot draw it for this to work. You have to turn the paper. Okay? Drawing it does nothing. Turning of the paper is what works because it shows you what happens to the x and y axis. All right, so everybody look at the y and x axis. Did they switch spots? Yes, so I would write they switch spots. The y is on the left, and left is negative. The x is up high. It is. All right, let's see if we got it right. 90 degrees counterclockwise. Did I write it correctly? Yes or no? Yes. All right, let's go back. Reset your paper. Put it back in normal. Are y'all ready? Let's do 180 degrees clockwise. Now, it really doesn't matter if you go clockwise or counterclockwise because 180 degrees is how many spots? 2. So everybody look, if I go 2 spots clockwise, I go here, right? If I get 2 spots counterclockwise, I go to the exact same spot. So it doesn't matter which way you go, but where's the happy face need to go? The bottom left. So everybody turn your paper, put it in the bottom left. I don't see everybody paying attention. Put that away, please. Is the x-axis still the x-axis? Yeah, they did not switch spots, did they? So I would write. They did not switch spots. But the x is now on the... So it became, the y is now at the bottom, so it became negative. So let's see, did I get it right? 180, they both stay in their spots, but they both became negative. You just read what happened to your paper when you turned it. All right, y'all want to try one on your own? Are y'all ready? All right, turn back to your happy face, reset it to normal. Okay, I want y'all to try 270 We didn't write this one on the front, so you can't cheat. All right, I want you to try 270. How many spots is that?
3.
Let's go clockwise. Hold on. Go back to normal, and you're going to go 270. That's 3 spots like a clock. Go right here. So turn your paper to the top. 3. Okay. Now you got to come up with the rule. Oh my God. You're good. You're right there. 3 spots. 1, 2, 3. Did y'all get it? Okay, did everybody turn their paper to put the happy face where? If I go top left, because look, 3 spots like a clock. 1, 2, 3. Okay, everybody got it?
-1.
Did they switch spots?
Yes.
Yes, so my answer would be negative y. Why is it negative? Because it's on the left. Positive x. So I would write it like this. For 270 clockwise, I take my x and my y, because this is just the way you write it. They switch spots. And y'all said the y is negative, the x is positive. What do y'all think about Happy Face Man? It's really not bad once you get it.
So left side is negative and right side is positive.
Mm-hmm. Up is positive, down is negative. Okay, y'all want to try another one? Let's try one more. All right, y'all ready? Let's do 270 counterclockwise.
It's giving me idea.
270 counterclockwise. Go opposite of a clock. Look at your stuff up here. Which way is counter? That way. Did everybody turn their paper? I'm not going to give you the rule yet. I want y'all to think. Stop talking and everybody look backwards from a clock. So I would go 1, 2, 3. So all I need to do is turn my paper till the happy face is in the bottom right. Now, I want you to come up with a rule. Don't say it out loud. Let everybody think. The questions you're asking yourself, did the x and y axis switch spots? And which one gets a negative sign? Okay? So did they switch spots? So how would I write this? Y, comma, negative x. Easy? Yes, easy? Now, again, on your assignment today, not all the answers, because 270, I didn't write it on here, but a lot of the answers are just right here. But I want to say this to you. Don't sit here and use these because you don't get it on the STAR test. So practice with Happy Face Man, then just check your answers with this page. Make sense? I want y'all using Happy Face Man to answer your questions. Now, before we move on, everybody stop. Shh. When you turn a shape, did it change size?
Nope.
Did it change shape?
Nope.
What does it do? It
turns.
Give me the words.
Rotation. It's congruent.
It preserves congruence. So what? Hey, y'all are gonna have questions over this. The angles are congruent. The side links are congruent. The perimeter is. The area is. So what changed? Everybody look. What changed? Your view. What's that called? The orientation changed. All right. Go to Google Classroom and I'll get you an answer document. I want you using Happy Face Man to do this.
So for 90 degrees, one spot would be down here.
If you're going clockwise.